All right, folks. I could not wait to bring on my beautiful guest. We are on all of the outlets now. I'm going to share it to public if you don't mind. So give me 1 second. Make sure everything is coming in good. Aminah, can you hear me? Beautiful guest. We are on. Okay, I can hear me. And now I'm just waiting to hear from my guests.
I'm here. I'm here. I can hear you
One
a little bit. Like you sound beautiful. Hi, peace, mama. You
peace,
sound
baby girl.
beautiful.
Peace, peace. I'm just making this public now, so just give me 1 moment. And they are coming in on the gram. I see that now. So let's make this public and let's share this out. But first, I hope you don't mind, you guys. I have to play a beautiful, beautiful young lady, and this is actually who this show is dedicated to. Her name is Siobhan Ramos. That is
Okay.
her name. Is
Mm.
Siobhan Ramos. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Siobhan. She is going to be in November's edition of Global Fire magazine. She's been an advocate for children, and the reason why is because of her actual story that she lived through. She was a domestic violence survivor. And let me read you her bio before I play this beautiful video. Siobhan Ramos, aka we call her Sparrow. She was born and raised in Chicago, Humboldt Park area. Was born in 1980. Has 6 children and 2 grandchildren. Siobhan ran away from home at the age of 14 and was living in the streets involved in gang activity, domestic violence, and drug abuse. In Siobhan's adulthood, she got into a relationship where she ended up being sex trafficked by her boyfriend. When she escaped from that situation, she went to a program that helped her get her life together. And she has dedicated her life to helping others going through the same situation she was going through. Sparrow is a singer, songwriter, producer. She is an advocate against sex trafficking and is also a survivor. She uses her platform to bring awareness and impact lives through her music and painting. She's such a beautiful painter, you guys. Wow. Sparrow released her first album this year called Sparrow's Nest, Siobhan, which is available on all major platforms. She also released 2 videos on YouTube for I Am Free and Have Mercy on Me. All proceeds will be used to help the community. And now I'm going to play this beautiful, beautiful queen. If you don't mind my earth, I hear you fine. So I'm going to adjust my cameras a little bit and then I'm going to play this video for everyone.
Okay.
That was a beautiful prelude, actually.
Yes, indeed it was.
Have mercy on me, oh Lord. Have mercy on my soul as I learn to let it go. As I learn to let it go, have mercy on me. Good God Almighty, have mercy on my soul, 'cause there's a lot of things I need to learn to let go. To you, Yahweh, I give complete control, but I gotta be honest, there's a struggle in my soul. So many times I try to take my life. Coming into this world, it's been nothing but strife. And so I carried a knife, always ready to fight. Fornication, prostitution, I was never a wife. But deep down inside, I desire to make things right. Forgive me for my sins, Lord. It seems that I would never win, Lord. All I'm saying is, been this way since I was just a kid. Innocence ripped away at the age of 4. Foster parents yelling at me, calling me a whore. Saying you're nothing,
You'll never amount to anything. See, the devil came to still kill all my dreams. Have mercy on me, Lord. Have mercy on me, oh Lord. Have mercy on my soul. Have mercy on me, oh Lord, as I learn to let it go. Self-medicated all the sorrow and pain. Alcoholism, see, I was bound in chains. The reflection in the mirror doesn't even look the same. Let it rain, let it rain, let it wash away all the blood-stained pillowcases. 'Cause I was looking for love in all the wrong places. Blackouts, drunken nights, family fights, in and out of trap houses, chasing after paper, hotel to hotel, running from life, stressing so hard, non-stop pacing, smoking on green, I didn't know that he was lacing. Lost my kids and my family because of my addiction, in the belly of the beast where no one ever listens, and you barely get sleep because the devil's steady hissing. All the real opportunities I was steady missing. My kids crying as they watch me slowly dying. Mama, frustrated with grief, telling me to get myself right. She was praying through the night, hoping one day her baby girl would walk in the light. All right. As that man choked me that night, death came, but God's grace shines so bright. Have mercy on me, oh Lord. Have mercy on my soul. Have mercy on me, oh Lord, as I learn to let it go. Toxic, abusive relationships, I didn't understand. So mad at you, God. Was this a part of your plan? For a man to put his hands on another woman? It ain't what it is, but that's what it was. And I swear to you, Lord, all I needed was a hug and just a little bit of love from my family. But they pushed me away sadly, and I gladly put that bottle to my lips. I let the tears fall as I took every sip. I burned every bridge possible. My heart and mind was not logical. Real love for me, I believe, was not possible, because I did not love myself. How could I? When I was broken and in despair, I was lost and unaware of the beauty still there. Have mercy on me, oh Lord. Have mercy on my soul. Have mercy on me, oh Lord, as I learn to let it go.
Her name is Siobhan Ramos, you all. Siobhan Ramos. I had to play that today. I had no other choice but to
That
play
was
Siobhan
fire.
Ramos. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Earth Amina, I love you, first of all.
I'm sorry, I
You know,
love you too, Mama.
you know I already love you. You know, it's amazing how the universe brings people together. You don't even know how you met. You just know that you met, somewhere
And
along.
glad that we did that part. Hmm.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We're going to talk about you first of all, because everyone doesn't know the Earth and Mina. Everyone doesn't, but they're going to get to know you in a more personal way. And
Hmm.
here are just a few of the questions. All right.
Okay.
First,
So many people are they want to see the live on IG, but I think they say your page is private. So I gave them the Facebook link. I asked
right.
I typed in the chat. I said, if you have a Facebook, here's the link. For them.
Right, exactly. That is now open. So go ahead and go to that link that she sent. And of course, you can also hear us on Instagram. And this is going to be recorded as well. So this will be sent everywhere. So don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Let me ask you, Earth. Tell us a little bit about baby Earth. When you were just a little one, where did you grow up?
I'm born and raised in New York City. I was born and raised in New York City. I was born in Queens, Jamaica, Queens. South Side to be exact, South Side, Jamaica, Queens. So I grew up there. So that's where Baby Earth is from, New York City, born and
New
raised.
York. When when my God he heard your voice, he said, New York. I already know. You don't even have to tell me. That's New York. She is deep with New York. I said, yes, sir. Yes, she is. So we all know that she is from New York. New York. Say New York for me.
New York.
Okay, she's putting an or in it. You know they always
New
say
York. I'm saying that's how we say it. We say y'all a lot of other people say New York, but we say New York.
she says New York, you guys. So
It is.
remember that. Let me ask you something. Tell me about your childhood. Was it normal, typical? Was it did you play stickball? What did you do as a young?
Well, um, I'm a classically trained dancer and ballet, but normal. We, I mean, normal, as far as my family moved from Washington houses in Spanish Harlem to Queens. In New York is the thing, like everybody at one point in time was working for the city. Everybody got a corrections job or a post office job or corrections, sanitation, or social work or something like that. So, they got that was big money back then. So everybody moved from the city to like Queens and Long Island and stuff. So my family moved to Queens. But growing up, I mean, normal. Um, I did a lot of things as a child. We played a two-hand touch football on a block, hopscotch, double
Wait,
tag
were you a
football.
tomboy?
No, not at all. Mm-mm. It's
Oh,
weird.
you
I
were a
wasn't a
girly
tomboy, but
girl.
I love sports, if that makes sense.
It does. I understand. It does.
I ran track in school. I played volleyball in high school. Yeah, but my passion was dancing. I went to Alvin Ailey for 10 years and I stopped.
I think I heard that. And that is one thing we do have in common. I did the ballet. See, you could tell I'm from the north. The ballet.
Ballet, right? Ballet. Yeah.
And with the
Hmm.
tutu and everything. But I, I was the tomboy. I wanted to be outside climbing trees, and I don't think I wore my first pair of heels until I was grown, and that
Hmm.
was only because I was made to. And I'm gonna tell you how I became a girly girl. This is a true story. My mother, she used to be a model, right? And that
Hmm.
was during, John Johnson days, right? So
Yes.
they asked her to be a model because she was also the first female Black loan officer in Chicago. But they noticed she was so beautiful. So she got a few loans for John Johnson, Jet and all other things. They said, well, why don't you model for us? And so she did. But just so happened that on one time she had a modeling gig. They said, oh, bring your daughter. We've seen her. And so we actually walked the runway, mother and daughter. And I mean, it was so cool. But when I saw all the beautiful ladies behind stage and how they worked those runways, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be pretty. I want to be a girly girl.
Oh, okay. You're
And
beautiful, mama. You know that.
yeah, that's how I put away, my sneakers. And well, I still got my sneakers. But,
Hmm.
and speaking of, we call them sneakers. Do you all call them gym shoes?
Mm-mm, we call them sneakers too.
You
Kicks.
call them sneakers.
We call them
Okay,
kicks.
because, it's like either pop or soda pop. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you
Where
from.
you from? Yeah, from they say everybody. They say that, well, people from New York, we say everybody, if you outside of the five boroughs, you got an accent, like country. It ain't no disrespect, but it's everybody says we have accents for New York. We don't got accents. Everybody else does. I can hear the twang. Like where y'all at in Chicago, y'all don't have it. It's a cute accent. It's not country. It got a little twang to it. We could tell that you're from the
That's
Midwest.
what I call it.
A little
I went to
twang.
the South. Oh, and we're also on Twitch. I see some of your people here. Solo Woman, I think it's Solo
Yes, yes,
Woman Seven.
that's the queen.
She is on Twitch. Salute, peace. But I went to the South and they said, "You sound so country." I said, "What?
They got
I'm from
nerve.
I'm from Chicago. How in the world can I sound country?" But hey, it is what it is. Okay, let me ask you another question. These are just the fun questions, and then
Yes,
we're
I
going
love
to
it.
get into the
Mhm.
meat and potatoes.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
And that's the $1 million question. I never had an answer for that. I just did a whole bunch of stuff. My father wanted me to be an attorney. It's so many things that have crossed my path. I still at 45 don't know. I'm just winging it.
I
I
understand.
graduated college and I have two college degrees. I went halfway through my master's at Hunter with 2016. So if for me, I still don't know. But I've come into my purpose now. And when we get into the meat and potatoes, then we could talk about that. But yeah, um, I didn't say I wanted to be an astronaut or this or that. I wanted to be a dancer. And when my body started to change, it kind of everything after that, I didn't care. Yeah, I wanted to dance forever. And then when my body changed, and it even changed, I was really sticking bones. I was a ballerina. And then when I got 12 years old, my body started to change. And I felt I didn't look like a ballerina anymore. But they begged me to come back for 2 years at Alvin Ailey, and I just did not. And I can regret that. But, I still have my hand in dancing. I helped choreograph my little one. They dance troupe. I had a dance troupe. Me and Jonesy, salute to Jonesy. We did that for almost a year. Yeah, so with the girls in Bushwick projects, night.
Mm,
Yeah, we had a dance troupe. So yeah, that was fun. Hmm.
wow. You can't get away from your first love. Whether it's music, whether it's dance, it's like it will always be there inside of you and you'll just pull it out when you need to.
Hmm.
Okay, let me ask
That's
you
a
something.
fact. Hmm.
Now we're going to get into the crux. When did you first realize that there was something wrong on this planet?
To be honest, when I was like about 13 or 14 years old, and it was because of it ties into now correlated now regarding the energy. The energy been off. These things have been happening. The rabbit hole, mama. You know how deep the rabbit hole goes. It's never ending.
Yes.
But as a teenager, a preteen going into my teen years, it was always this energy. Like I felt like being around certain people and being in certain areas. It was just I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there. And now after all these years of researching and connecting dots because I'm good at that, it's something wasn't right. Something definitely wasn't right. So it's been a long time. I've felt it, but now I know what it is now. Definitely, it's the energy.
I see. It's the
Hmm.
energy. How old were you? Do you remember? Did you say how old you were?
Yeah, I was about 14, 13, 14, around that
13
age.
or
Preteen
14.
going into my teenage years. Yeah, I would be with friends or be around family members, and to this day, them family members, I don't like being around them. That part.
It's the energy. Yeah.
It's totally the energy, and that's something that we, as a collective, we have to connect, and we have to go and research, energy, and find that it can it's part of our design. It's true. It's what we are. We're energy.
We're energy. Exactly.
Hmm.
And that's why I always say we don't die. We just transfer our as it transfers of energy. That's it. Let me ask you this, Earth.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are the missing women and children?
Underground. They either dead. I'm going to be just get straight to it. They're missing. They're either underground. There are tunnels all over the world. And that's what it is that I report on. Mama reports on it too. So many people report on it. You're finding out that these women is 8 million children missing worldwide, and amongst that number are these women too. You know what I'm saying? Men too, boys, but 8 million children worldwide and 800,000 in this country per year alone are missing. They disappear off the face of the earth. There's no place to go. They're not going up in outer space. They underground.
Underground.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you something. As far as the underground, I call them bunkers. I call them holding pens.
And
Who,
dumbs. Mm-hmm.
who created those?
The deep state. These dumbs are deep underground military bases. They created. It's so the rabbit hole with that is so deep. There's cities, literal cities underground where they have as tall as 70 stories. Like they have everything underground. Cars, food, water, the internet, electricity, roads. The only thing that's missing underground is the essential thing, and that is the sun. They don't have that underground.
I know they have the artificial.
Right. They have something that it would be, the sun, the sun that we
Right.
have up here. That's
Which is
why when they're bringing these children from underground, they are dying as soon as they touch the surface because they've never had that carbon hasn't been activated. If that makes sense.
it does make sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, I started realizing that something was not right. It took me a little bit longer,
Mm-hmm.
but the reason why I realized something wasn't right is because I started traveling to different parts of the world and I started seeing things that did not make any sense to me,
Right.
such as military bases. I lived on a military base, and some of the planes that I saw,
Mm-hmm.
they I couldn't explain them, and I said, what type of energy is this that they're using? What are these planes? I don't even understand what I'm looking at. And then I knew, I said, there's a lot that we don't know. And ever since then, I just started researching and researching and researching. And I said, oh my gosh, it's like once that light bulb blows up, in your spirit, in your mind, you say, everything that I was taught was a lie. Everything that I see, almost
Mm-hmm.
everything that you see is a lie. So you said that this is the military. Now, how is it possible? And this is what I've asked a lot of my guests.
Mm-hmm.
How is it possible that we have cameras now on all of the street lights, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in the inner city? So if we have cameras that can capture if you're speeding and it can zero in on your license plate, how can they
Mm-hmm.
not catch who's snatching our children?
Right. That is an excellent question. Here's the thing. First and foremost, it has to be, um, just a separation of knowing what we're dealing with or what when we be building about it. Because we hear the word military, and we automatically we know that the military is supposed to the military fights to protect and preserve our freedoms, or what we thought was freedoms under this corporation. But that's a whole nother topic. But when it comes to these children, everything is orchestrated in plain sight. They move these children through these evergreen. You see the evergreen the trucks evergreen, those big
Yes,
tractor trail evergreen. That is the biggest trafficking company or the trafficking organization in the world. It was run funded and headed by Bill and Hillary Clinton. That part evergreen. These shipping containers all through all on these docks in these ports all over the country. The movies has tipped us off to it so much, but then it's dismissed off as sci-fi or fantasy, or fiction, not real, but it's the truth in these movies. And the news, the mainstream media has been the one with the lies the whole time. They have Walmart, they involved in it, Wayfair, Amazon, eBay. They sell these children over the internet and the
yes,
dark
they
web. We
are.
know about that.
I know about that. I was
Yes, ma'am.
when I started watching you, and then I started doing more research, and I said, in plain sight, in
Yep.
plain sight. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
could we not have known that children are being sold? Their body parts and their whole beings are being sold on the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
when you did the Wayfair, I said
Ooh.
that like I could not sleep for days after I
Mm-hmm.
saw that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Yes, ma'am.
but they always disguise. And let's go back to the movies.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
watched The Simpsons, and everyone says, "Oh, I did research on The Simpsons." And there was one guy, he was a writer for The Simpsons, and he was a recluse. He would never write in the studio. He would always go to a diner and he would write. But
Mm-hmm.
um, his visions that he wrote about and he made into a cartoon, they came to life, right? But
Yes.
what I said was, it really wasn't visions. They're playing in our face. They're telling us
Yes.
exactly what they're going to do, what
Mm-hmm.
year they're going to do it, and it's a joke.
Yes.
It's
I
a
love the
joke.
fact how you broke that down. You simplified it, but you gave it so much clarity. You told exactly what it is. People are just guessing, oh, the Simpsons, they're predicting it. No, they doing exactly what you just said. They telling you what they're gonna do and what year they're gonna do it and what month and who they're gonna do it with. You said it, you couldn't have said it no better than that. That right there, that part.
It's
Yes.
ridiculous. Let me ask you
Yes.
something. Or when did you become when did you become an advocate for the children, for the missing children?
12 years ago. 12 years
12 years
ago.
ago.
And not on the internet. It started on the internet about I would say about 10 years ago, but 12 years ago, just period. Like just after finding out about Planned Parenthood, and then it was these signs, and then with children and little girls are just missing all over Harlem and whatnot. There's these signs. They probably still have them. They put these signs up on the telephone poles, and it says, or the utility poles, and it says, oh, $20 an hour for a job. Call this number. This is some weird area code. And then the intel came back that these young women were calling, teenagers, especially like graduating high school, calling,
Hmm.
so they don't have to go to college. You see $20 an hour 10 years ago. That's a lot of money. And then they was disappearing. Then those teenagers all in 2000, what year was that, in DC, in like the month of February, like 30 of them just disappeared. The young women over in Africa, them 300 women disappeared in the jungle, never to be found again. So yeah, but it started 12 years ago, just in the physical, like at these rallies and parliaments, part of my nation, and then just at my god sister who actually passed away 4 years ago. And she used to say, "You getting on my nerves talking about these Illuminati people, these Illuminati girl." But then she supported my radio show and everything. So yeah, it was about when we first found out about Planned Parenthood, meeting her at the same time. We was like, "What?" And then just kept digging from there. Hmm.
You know,
But the
it's
last 2 years, heavy on the internet with Emmerich TV.
yes, indeed. Let's talk about. We're going to go back to. Um, you touched on a great point. I worked in a hotel years ago, right?
Hmm.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. They put out the advertisement for the young people. We'll take you all around the world and we'll give you a place to stay and so on. You just come with us and they'll pick you up in a van and then they'll
Right.
pick you up. Now, when I was working at the hotel, one thing that I realized, one, the children or the teens, they were basically starving.
Mm.
They were used basically as slaves. A
Hmm.
lot of them were left behind if they did not make a certain quota. And when you put these young people out on the streets, what do you think's going to happen? They're not all selling Amway products and this and that. This is this is trafficking. This is trafficking. And when I became involved heavily is when I was working in the hotel field and I realized how many pimps had young girls. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. No, no, that's my sister. That's my sister. But they were so petrified. They were so frightened. I said, these are young girls. And I remember specifically one of them, the pimp had fell asleep or something. And she ran to the office and she said, please, please hide me. Please. Here's my mother's number. Call, call, call. She got caught up, she thought she was going away for a beautiful trip or whatever, ended up, being trafficked. But we got her back home, through our network. We got her back home. But then I realized how many more how many more. And it was so ironic that a lot of them found our hotel. I don't know if they heard, you know, you just go to the office, you hide under the desk, and you know they'll help you. I don't know what happened, but that just snowballed, you know, in my life. And then I realized through personal experiences, I met a lot of young ladies that had, they just went out on dates and they ended up sex trafficked, and you could not find them. They were hidden in other cities and so on and so forth. And I'll tell a story about my daughter when she went to Hawaii and how bad the trafficking is there. She literally had to stop and call the police on the main island because she saw a young lady being sex trafficked. And they scared them. They scared the young lady so much that they can't order for themselves. There are things you can watch out for. You know, if the young lady doesn't speak, if she's not allowed to interact, or even a child, if they're not allowed to interact or to make eye contact or so forth. So she knew the signs to look out for. Do you know the police in Hawaii would not question these people?
Police is in on it too, and
Not,
that's where the rabbit hole gets tricky, and it becomes something that is far worse than disheartening. It's like it's just unacceptable. But the police are involved in trafficking. Everybody's connected, Mama, when it comes to this. But no, I believe you. Hawaii is a big hub for child trafficking. For those that are new, I'm Aminah. How y'all doing? But in this country, Columbus, Ohio is the biggest child trafficking hub. Columbus, Ohio, and that goes into Lex Wester, the owner of Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Work. Columbus, Cleveland, all the Midwest, but Columbus, because it's a flyover state. Cleveland, you land. Columbus, a flyover state. It's the biggest hub. A lot of these cities are hubs. So when you say Hawaii is a state, that's a hub too out there. And it's a big methamphetamine state too, Hawaii. But I totally, the police, they involved in it. They are so involved in it. Even I'm gonna make a something relatable to where you at. You're in Chicago. That WNBA player Kathy Poindexter. You heard about her story, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, she from Chicago and trafficked. And okay, and everybody, and I felt so bad for that queen. They drug her. They called her all kind of names. Said she was a crackhead and she crazy. Nah, see, that's what happens when people are not privy to the MK Ultra that they do to these victims of trafficking. Well, it goes in deeper than these ones that are famous, these athletes, these singers, these rappers, musicians, things of that nature. They become program MK Ultra. What you saw from Cappy Poindexter was an MK Ultra, I call it rant, but a breaking of programming. She escaped 2 years. She was missing, and I did the whole decode regarding her being missing, and she wasn't missing as a child. That's the thing. She wasn't missing. She's 38 years old. You can look at her face. I thought she was young, but she's
Yes.
38 years old. So what you saw was the same type of rant that you saw from Orlando Brown at Disney, the little boy from Raven. Those same type of rants, the same coded words, the same look like they having some type of crack rant, but it's an MK Ultra breakdown when you're trying to break that programming. And when she said $30 million, LeBron, she called LeBron James trafficked her. She wasn't crazy. And then she said the $30 million. He stole 30 million from her. That when she was speaking that, see, people who don't know about MK Ultra would think she bugging. She ain't make no $30 million. No, she did. That's how much money they accrued by trafficking her in 2 years.
Let me ask you something. For those that don't know what MK Ultra is, explain that to us.
MK Ultra is programming. It comes from World War II Germany. After the war, quotation mark war, the United States Corporation, they know that United States of America after up until 2016, or now it's a republic now, back to pre-1871. That's a whole nother topic. But
Mhm.
this country for all these years was a corporation, a business. So
Yes.
under the corporation, after the war, the United States hired the same German scientists that they said was the enemy, and they brought them over here. With that, those were torture tactics that they did to POWs. They
Yes.
programmed them, they tortured them, they waterboarded them, surfboarded them, electroshock therapy, So they would take cloth and put it over their mouth and pour water down their throat, all kind of crap they did. And what
Yes.
it does, MK Ultra programming or torturing, it fractures the mind into pieces. Hence, when you see symbolisms from the elite, like the monarch butterfly, that's a whole part of MK Ultra
Mhm.
programming. When you see them in a cage, these videos with them in a cage, that's symbolism for MK Ultra. When you see them breaking a mirror, that's the one standout one, because them breaking the mirror is symbolism to in plain sight, mama. It's symbolism to their mind being fractured. So,
You know,
they.
I did a study on this, a little lecture on it about
Mhm.
the German scientists and
Yes,
about Operation Paperclip and
yes,
how
ma'am.
they
Talk
gave them, yeah, they gave them asylum in the U.S. to bring everything that they had been working on.
over
You
here.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in Germany, they
Mm-hmm.
brought all of that over here. They set them up, gave them labs, and said, "Okay, teach us what you've been doing to your POWs."
Right.
And that's when I knew. I knew when I read that. And when I talked about it, I said, wow. Now,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about frequency and vibration. All
Yes,
right.
ma'am. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the 5G?
Initial the 5G in the beginning with the deep state. That's all. The deep state are these devils.
Yes.
It's Democrats and Republicans. It's these athletes. It's these 10% puppets. These celebrities that people are worshiping. They're the deep state. But the deep state term comes regarding government. These politicians, the bad guys. Okay, they the devils. But 5G under this corporation with this agenda of this COVID, it was weaponized. That was the
Yeah.
sleeper. 5G weaponized or 5G turned all the way up creates radiation poisoning. So a symptom of radiation poisoning is the shortness of breath. You don't get that from no virus. There was in the very beginning of the COVID, there was three symptoms. You had a fever, that wet cough, and a shortness of breath. If you went to the emergency room and you didn't have that shortness of breath, they would send you home. You
Right.
had to have that shortness of breath because that was what they put as a symptom of quotation while COVID was actually radiation poisoning. And then people started realizing that because a lot of people were getting admitted, what they didn't tell the public was they were killing people with ventilators. They still doing that, but 5G all the way up, it causes internal bleeding. There's so many things radiation poison causes, but internal bleeding is one of them. So right now, and it goes according to the speed of the internet as well. Every time there's an upgrade in a tower, it's some bullshit that's something that comes along with the 5G. I mean with the upgrade. So now the upgrade with the 5G was the radiation. So now
And
it's the
right.
5G is not a weaponized anymore because the white hat stepped in. Hence
Mhm.
why if you pay attention, there's always something going on with your internet. It's slower than what
Yes.
you're used to because
Yes.
it's analog. They took they de-weaponized it. So it's just a regular analog type of internet. It ain't fast, it's slow. If you compare it to 3G and 4G, and that's what was getting people sick. The
Exactly.
5G is Tesla's energy. Tesla's
Yes, it
432 hertz
is.
is everywhere
You know,
now.
I think about Tesla. That is when I really start, they say awakening or whatever, but I started
hmm
researching. I've always been a researcher. And
hmm
I remember seeing a car, Tesla, and I said, ooh, let me delve into Tesla. And then I
hmm
realized, I said, well, wait a minute. That's the plane. Okay, I get it now. And then when I read about about the first Chicago World Fair, and I'll never forget talking about this, and that Edison was there. And Edison had
hmm
brought him, yeah, Edison brought him over and everything and said, you'll work for me and you'll be great. You'll make a lot of money. And then actually, Edison, he said, no, we're going to monopolize this. So we can't use your inventions because it'll be free. Why don't we teach people how to do that?
You
But we
better
can
talk, mama.
monopolize on it. Right. And so
hmm
they made him out to be a heretic. But
Yes, talk, mama.
ironic, they always make people out to be heretics.
If they
Okay.
can't utilize them, that you better talk to them. That part.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
hmm
of course, he died penniless. But I think about all of his inventions that are still being used by the military to this day. But he
hmm
was a heretic though. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
the
Hmm.
heretics are onto something. Trust me when I tell you.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about skin mask. We're going to talk about a few things tonight. Let's talk about skin mask. For
Whatever
those
you
who
want to
don't know.
talk about skin mask. I coined the skin mask. But those who are listening, skin mask, well, there's a lot of patriots that know what it is. Skin mask refers to the man you think you see is Joseph Biden on the TV. That ain't him. This is a movie that you're watching. It's the MAGA movie. It's called The Great Awakening because it's about waking everybody up, world globally, waking people up to the devilishment that's been going on. And the beginning game, the start game and end game are these children.
Yes.
Because let me go into that. The children, the hub of the world's finance globally is the blood of these children. Child sex trafficking is a $350 billion business. Might be more than that. But on paper right now it's $350 billion business. Might be more than that because a 2 liter bottle, 2 liters of their adrenochrome, their infused blood, is $2 billion. That part. So yes, the hub of the world finance is the blood of these children, and everybody is reaping benefits from it. It's unacceptable. But skin mask, that man you see on TV, that is not Joseph Biden. That is not him. The real Joseph Robinette, that's his middle name, Biden was executed at least almost 2 years ago in 2019. That part. The man you see on TV, his name is Arthur Roberts. He is a paid hired actor. And you can go look up Arthur Roberts. He was in, what movie was that? Some one of them G.I. Joe movies or something like that, long time ago. He's 80 years old, Arthur Roberts. Same height, build, the same face. I wish I should have sent you, if I knew you was going to ask that, I sent you a picture of Arthur Roberts, right? But yes, Arthur Roberts is Joseph Biden's skin mask, that part. I called
Man.
this skin mask because during my early internet, when I first broke the internet, I was like, that looked like somebody, and I was calling him Michael Myers face at first because it looked like a Michael Myers fat mask face. And I was like,
Right.
something ain't right. And then it came out after digging more, and you started seeing these videos being, all around viral about the skin mask. You could see it moving and everything. I'm like, oh, this is a skin mask. And we had to start talking in code on MREX. So instead of calling, because anything you said Joseph Biden, they was flagging it. So
Yeah.
I turned it into skin mask. And it's been there ever
Let,
since.
let me ask you, let's talk about MREC. How did you all combine courses or when did you learn about MREC?
I've been on MREC. Nah, MREC was my husband's. MREC's my husband's um um peoples like that. So MREC used to be Forbes DVD. Forbes DVD is an innovator in hip hop. It came around with the Beef DVD, the Smack DVDs. Everybody was going pulling up at people who are interviewing these rappers. They had battles on it, and MREC and Doggy Diamonds, they were Forbes DVD. They did the same thing. It was interviews, music, all kind of things. I came into MREC years ago, but as far as the journey there, it happened 2 years ago. My husband said, "Yo, you know," it was one day I was scrolling through. My husband said, "I'm going to go to work," but he was listening to what's the name of that? Oh, Blue Blood Sports. Salute to them. There's a boxing network. My husband loved boxing, so he would be over there all day. So he was on his way out the door. So I was scrolling through after listening to him with him because he used to force me to. Not because I love boxing, but I had to listen to him when he would call up there talking on his job on there.
Right.
So I was scrolling through my algorithm, and then I seen MREC title just jumped out at me. It said, "F these celebrities, we on survival mode," and this was in the height of when the planned PLA endemic started.
Pandemic. Yeah.
Pandemic started, so um, I usually be in the chat, but I called up. Something said call up, and then I was listening in the chat at first to what was being talked about. He was like, "Nah, these celebrities, I f them." You know what I'm saying? This is real life happening. It was people calling in. They was sad. They was like, I'm gonna lose my job. I don't know what to do. So then I was still listening to see if I was going to hear somebody hear about the intel I came across about Tom Hanks and I'm in the Chris Rizzoli document. I'm still listening. And then I still, after like 20 minutes, I didn't hear nothing. So I called up. And then that's what broke the internet. Changed the world when I called up that day with
Wow.
that document.
That is so amazing. Like, I know that probably back then you would have never known what your future held for you. You know
Yes,
what I'm
ma'am.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something. So now that we know what is happening with the children and so forth, now that we know that there are advocates on this planet that know what's going on, that's putting out the word, what has happened in your personal life since you started exposing the truths?
Mm. Well, for me, it's been a split, kind of split down the middle, like tragedy, losing my husband,
Yeah.
and then a daughter, and then but on the opposite side of that, I pushed through 2 days after my husband died because that's what he wanted me to do. He hate pedophiles. If he could blow their head off, he would. Every last one of them. So on the hindsight of it, it has exposed to me the cognitive dissonance with these people. People are, it's easier not to see, as my sister Mal says, easier is not to see. I've had all kind of attacks. I've been red flagged for almost 2 years. I be, I be wanting to wake more people up or go and build with more people, but I don't like to infringe on people's channels and things of that nature, because if you get associated with me, they will flag you. They'll start censoring you just because you have me on your page or I'm affiliated with you. They're doing it to thousands and thousands of people. But it's been for me. It's a good thing because millions of people have waken up, and I don't know the impact I've had. I was told that today by my medium. I do not know. I've had such a big impact that I don't know. I'm just humbled. I'm still the same person, because for me, it's about reconnecting, creating a new village. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because not going back to normal. I hate when people say that, because it wasn't nothing normal about what was going on before we started waking up. Wasn't nothing normal about these pedophiles out here. It was nothing normal about it makes me feel violated, like somebody try to violate me, like physically. It's a gross feeling. But the trolls, people. I find out it's a lot of pedophile sympathizers out here. I know that for a fact, and that's something I'm not with at all. Like, people make excuses. People enable for real. You know what I'm saying? The pedophile, these puppets, because you these people, they got they label as celebrities, but they don't celebrate anything but lining the people up. That's their job. So for me, that's the pros and cons, mama. The silver lining is that a lot of people are waking up. So for me, that makes me happy.
You know, it was amazing to me when I think my first interview was with Tommy Sotomayor, and
Oh
I
God.
didn't really know who he was. They just said, "Oh, go interview this guy," and till this day, I'm like, God, that was the worst mistake I ever made. Like, I have to research all of my guests from now on. But
Mm-hmm.
that opened the door to me going to different, they call them content creators in YouTube. So I started going around and listening and listening. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm listening to pedophiles.
That
Like,
part.
like they're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to have channels on YouTube. They're allowed to say they're going to do certain things to children. They're going to do certain things to
Yes,
women.
ma'am.
And they're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to get away with this.
And they
But
monetize that foolishness. That part. They give them
that
monetization.
when I first heard the first video that was made in my honor, and they were saying what they were going to do to me, and
They ain't doing nothing.
I said, wait a minute, uh, how are you all getting away with this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Right.
wait,
Mm-hmm.
so then people started sending me videos. They said, go look at this one, go look at that one. Literally, I had to take a mental break, a
No,
spiritual
you
break,
did. You did. You did.
because what they were sending me was so, it was so nauseating, but it was real. That's what was so
Right.
nauseating about it, is that, damn, these are real human beings that I'm listening to, that others are listening to, that they have an influence. And what I also did a documentary about, and you may have been around then, the pedophiles that we found on the gaming systems, and how they were
Yes.
literally, they were
Mm-hmm.
talking to children on the gaming systems.
Yes, ma'am.
And I
Mm-hmm.
said, they're grooming our children on the gaming systems. And I actually was sent a recording one YouTuber, and he was talking, really horribly to sexually to a child, and I called him out. That was the very first one that I called out on the internet. And man, you talk about the heat that came after that. Like literally, I was closing my blinds. I'm like changing. I'm like, look, I did it. I said it. Yes, I did. And any more next. And so I got a little bold and brazen with it. I said,
Right.
well, who else? Let's find them all. Let's find. And as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I said that, the universe said, okay, you asking for it? You really want this job, right? I started getting video after video after video to the point where I could not sleep. And I said, they have rings. They have thousands of rings, even on the internet, through the gaming systems. And how did we not know this? And so I understand that even when you don't want to do it, your purpose, it makes you do it. You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You were born to do this by any
Yes.
means. You got to do it. Let me ask you something. So now that we know what is happening with our children, what is happening with our missing girls, with our missing women, let's talk about adrenochrome.
Yes,
Why?
ma'am.
Why do they want adrenochrome, especially for from children?
Well, what adrenochrome is the serum produced in the blood when a child is at its highest of fear. I mean, adults produce it, but it's not. They want it from the children. The younger the children, the more potent it is for them. They think of it as a youth serum. It is kind of like a youth serum. It don't give them immortality at the end of the day. There's, your immortality is achieved when you ascend to 5D. It has nothing to do with you staying physically 3D shell. Doesn't live to eternally. No. Okay, so it's um the the adrenaline or the serum produced in the blood when you have a child scared. So what they do with these children is that they sodomize them through the rectum. That's what causes the panda eyes, the blood to swell up in the eyes, looking like a panda, like two black eyes, but it's not black eyes. It doesn't come from someone punching them. It comes from being sodomized because when you sodomize a child or anyone through the rectum is a direct line to your bloodstream. So that's what the whole AIDS thing was about back in the days. That they were quick to put the narrative because of that physical a reason. But at the end of the day, it wasn't that AIDS was created. That's a whole nother topic. But these children, the adrenochrome, once they torture them, they scare them half to death. They get
Yes.
them at the highest of they scare somebody they'll scare somebody to death. That's what they do to these children. And then what they do after that, they gouge the eye out and they pull the bottom of the brainstem out, and that's where they get the adrenochrome from because it comes at the bottom of the brainstem is produced next to the pineal and pituitary gland. That's what that is. So the younger the child, and when they scare this child or torture this child, the the serum produced is more potent. It's like the drug. It's like the drug of all drugs. They be on this high, but then without it, it causes all kind of psychosis. It ages them too. So that's where the metaphor. But it does. If you look at these, when adrenochrome was banned by Donald Trump, the manufacturing of it, and then that's when they started arresting these pedophiles and executing them. You see that they go through adrenochrome withdrawals and things of that nature. 25 milligrams of adrenochrome is $48,000.
Hmm.
25 milligrams of this or these babies' blood is $48,000, and a 2 liter bottle of it or 2 liters of it is $2 billion. So, um, this
Let
is
me.
what it is. It's the trafficking of
Yes.
these children, and then the adrenochrome as well. It's a $350 billion plus business.
Let me ask you this, Earth. Let's go into Siobhan Ramos and so many others. The
Yes,
sex trafficking. How large is that, and where does it reach?
all over the world.
Hmm.
All over the world. There's hubs in each country. Melbourne, Australia is a hub of child sex trafficking. Rome, Italy, the Vatican, that was a hub for trafficking. The Buckingham Palace and everything surrounding London, England was a hub. New York City is a hub. Columbus, Ohio, a hub. LA, Los Angeles, a hub. in Texas, all anything by the border is a hub. Okay, Miami for these places, Canada, especially the Midwest, Columbus, Detroit, Chicago, y'all cities, because right on there is Lake Erie, and then you have the Seven Finger Lakes. That's them lakes that lead up into Canada, or up from Ohio and those things, those lakes. Yeah, those are the same lakes that have the tunnels underneath, and these tunnels that Hunter Biden got tattooed or had tattooed on his back. The map is identical, and that leads straight up into Canada. Canada is a big hub too. They involved in it. It's all over the world. Dubai, Saudi Arabia, China, Wuhan, China, where the coronavirus was made. It wasn't bat research. It was they were making that
So
virus.
bad
Three point
research.
seven $3.7 million grant for bat research. Please cut it out.
Yeah.
That um everywhere. It's trafficking in Africa. It's trafficking everywhere. But I'm gonna tell you where they don't play that shit is in India. Excuse my language. In India, they don't play that over there. No. There's certain
Hmm.
places in India, but that country they don't play that. Even Japan, Russia, they did it there because Vladimir Putin is an ally of Donald Trump. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors and optics. North Korea is an ally of the United States under Trump now. It's so much that has been done. But these children, let me tell you a story. It's short. It's a right story. In March of 2020, last year, they had a fake COVID testing site. They had them all over the country, actually, and in the world. Wherever they had these COVID testing sites, a lot of them were fake testing sites. A lot of them, those tents were set up on top of the entrances of these tunnels underground. Donald Trump made a speech. He said, we got 200,000 ventilators that we're sending to Spain, to France, to Italy, to these countries. Those countries he was naming, those was countries where they found these children underground. They found a whole bunch of children under the Vatican. They found them under the White House. And I got the receipts of them bringing the children up under the White House. Donald Trump, if you look at the footage, you see there's boxes of these ventilators. The ventilators they sent all over were used to save these children. When they brought these children from underground, they were dying as soon as they hit the air and the sun because they've never been touched by sun. And the ventilators were used to save these children worldwide. Meanwhile, the deep state, the bad guys, took a ventilator and killed your family members and told you they died from COVID. That part.
I noticed that it seemed as though 99% of those that went in and they ended up on the
Never
ventilator,
came out on the
they
ventilator.
never
Mm-mm.
came out.
Never came out the
Never, ever.
hospital.
That is amazing because before the COVID, when people went on ventilators, the mortality rate was not as high. I said,
Right.
well, wow, what's happening with the ventilators? I thought that was supposed to,
They were
but
killing people with the ventilators. $40,000 hospitals was getting $39K for each ventilator, each person that died from a ventilator. We come from an era, and I've had this build. People hear me repeat the same things because I'm not lying. And there's
right,
probably one person in here that's new that doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I always repeat things for people to hear for the first time, somebody for the first time. We
right.
come from an era, because we're around the same, we come from an era where the hospital was the last resort. Your family did everything. You sweated out
Yes,
Robitussin, put some Vicks on the bottom of your feet, socks, onions,
yes.
sweat out the cold, Robitussin, soup, orange juice,
We
everything.
knew how to heal ourselves. Yes.
Right. Now, the hospital was the last resort. Now it's the first resort because of the fear mongering on the TV with that
Mhm.
agenda. People have forgotten about their natural immunity. They don't trust it anymore.
Mm.
So people run into the hospitals. I tell people, you got a cold. You only practice on right. You go to the emergency room. I tell you, ain't going. You don't. And then they send you away. Your family members. You can't go with nobody in the hospital. Since when? And that leaves them for them to do exactly what it is that they want to do. Just like
Yeah.
in New York. And Mayor Lightfoot, she on an indictment now too. The military gonna book her shortly. She out of here. In New York, Andrew Cuomo, the military arrested him and booked him because he killed all them people in them nursing homes. They took them, the elderly, and put them in the nursing homes. and mixed them. And but what we didn't know, the intel that came out of Guantanamo Bay, is that he took these elderly people that was in hospice care, that was, I guess, resting, and just they didn't transition yet, but they was comfortable. They
Mm-hmm.
took these people out these beds, mama, and put them on these tractor trailer trucks inside these freezers and drove them around. And when they died, they took them to Potter's Field in New York and dumped them in a mass grave. That part. That's why our family couldn't bury in the height of fake COVID. They was like, oh, we're just gonna cremate the bodies. You couldn't bury your own family. If you did, you had to pay a lot of money. You could not bury and see your people buried. Come to find out, they had these whole bodies. They didn't cremate anybody because they took what they took out the bodies, the organ harvesting, and dumped the bodies in Potter's Field. That's why the military killed his ass. That part.
I knew exactly what was going on. I said, nah, trust me, whenever they find the bodies, it's going to be a few things missing, but you ain't here for me. And I knew something wasn't right. My daughter, they said she had COVID, and her daughter had COVID, but I didn't know it. So I went over to go take care of them, right? And the
Yes.
chicken noodle soup and all that mother's love, you know. But then we got the call, and she said, the nurse said, oh, you have COVID. And so I said, well, I'm not supposed to leave. I don't know what's going on. I feel fine. What in the world are you talking about? There's no way I could be in her face, changing linen, all this kind of stuff. Her and her daughter have it, but I'm perfectly fine, right? So when she recovered, I went home. And I said, wait a minute. If I was in this close proximity, why don't I have it? And that's when I realized something's just not right with this picture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is not right. I'm just not going. And then when I started realizing that most of the people that when they said, "Oh, my sister she's going on the ventilator," I'm like, I want to tell them just go ahead and start preparing preparations. I ain't trying to be funny, but I just want you to know, But and then I realized I know we're off the topic a little bit, but I
No,
had
it's fine. It's all connected, mama. It's
yes
all
indeed.
connected.
But and I was thinking, what happened to the flu bug? What happened to the cold? Like nobody,
Nobody
nobody
don't
gets,
get right. Everything is
nobody gets the
COVID.
cold anymore.
Right. Everything's COVID.
It's automatically because you got the COVID. No, I got a damn cold. Give me some chicken noodle soup. Give me some tea with some honey and some lemon.
Right, you got to treat
And
it like what a lot of people are learning about themselves just regarding that is that the immune system is stronger than what they think. A lot of people have pre-existing conditions, and that's where the virus is attacking. A virus cannot sustain under over any 85 degrees and over, and then
uh,
it needs a host. And after a certain amount of time outside of a host, it will die. Hence why they had to mutate it with so many strands of SARS and HIV. Like this is what they doing. So
Charlotte Charles says they have made it legal to boil dead bodies now, and they are trying to say due to potassium, they want to fertilize our crops with it.
oh no.
It's already legal in at least 3 states, one of them being Colorado, one of one of them Washington. I'm not sure what the third is. Can't recall at this moment.
Mhm.
Okay, man, we got they
You
only
also have to be aware. You also have to pay attention to. It is a lot of misinformation. It's a
yes.
lot of fake news out here. The fear monger. People need to realize when it comes to the COVID, there is no mandate. I don't care what the mandate means. It has to be proposed as a bill, voted on as a bill, and passed as a law. In the constitutional wise, we are back to a constitutional country now, a republic, constitutional law. Because before this, it was a whole bunch of statutes and penal codes, admiralty, maritime time, and maritime law.
Mm-hmm.
So we are back to a republic. Hence, before the corporation was established in 1871, before your birth certificate became part of the equation,
Right.
we openly traded on the stock. That's a whole nother bill. But again, the blood of the children have been.
Yes.
Uh, I have receipts of paintings from the 12th, 11th century of them, these children carrying on with them, eating them, and all that kind of mess. Yeah,
This is nothing new. This has been going
right,
on since right. We're thinking that this is some new conspiracy. No, it's been going on because where there's evil, this evil is not something new. Evil
right.
is ancient. It is before
Mm-hmm.
this planet. We think of this planet as maybe a couple of thousand years old. No, this is
It's way
millions of
older than
years
millions of years old. That
Right.
part.
And right. And so that ancient evil has always been here.
Our
It just
souls, right?
transfers. Exactly. Let me ask you something, Earth. Do you think that there's any hope that that with enough real real information, enough of the soldiers on the field that are spreading the word, do you think that this will ever end? Realistically.
Well, the powers that be, they done it out of here. What's happening now is making people privy to what's going on, so that the mission of hand of when Trump is still president, excuse me, Trump and this military, you have to give the ultimate respect to the military, because they're the ones out here. Because you hear about these earthquakes is tied to these children. This country has not ever in existence had these many earthquakes. We heard that whole big scare. Remember, they were saying eventually California would have this earthquake, the San Andreas Fault, and it would snap California off, and it would float into the middle of the Pacific. Remember that narrative? They would
Yes.
try to scare you. All these earthquakes, what you have, these are not real earthquakes. What it is the military is underground, blowing up these cities. They get these children out and they caving in these tunnels so that no one can ever be trafficked underground again. That's what's going on. You hear they had about 6 earthquakes in LA alone this year.
Hmm.
6 of them.
Hmm.
Even in Virginia, Georgia, as far north as Maine, they was 30,000 rumbling underground in Maine. They had Chinese troops underground trying to ready to mobilize. When you hear an earthquake all over the world, when you hear earthquake, I'm telling you, say Aminah, that those are these children. They're getting these children up out of there. That's all that is.
Let me ask you something. If they and Jamie says Australia, and I'm just reading a few comments from.
That's a big trafficking hub, Australia and Greece. Greece is a whole they give safe haven for pedophiles in Greece, the country. Mm-hmm.
Charlotte Charles says, according to the holy prophecy, their time is almost up. We are at the feet of the dream of the prophet Daniel. All right. We got a
Okay.
lot of different perspectives. That is
Yes, ma'am.
wonderful. I believe that, oh, Charlotte says Pebble Beach, Monterey, California, as
Yeah.
well. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. Let me ask you this. So, if the military is doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they are, rescuing the children, why not make it public?
It is public. Here's the
Mm.
thing: if people are looking for mainstream media to tell them anything, then they is sheep. No, disrespectfully, mainstream media, Operation Mockingbird, okay. They
Hmm.
all these these news platforms, they all in cahoots. They all reading off the same script. It's been exposed. We didn't see in one city, one city
Yeah.
in New York was talking about the emergency room, and then you see via satellite, then you see in another station in Italy showing the same exact thing, just in Italian. Like it's supposed to have been a totally different hospital. It was the same footage from New York. Mainstream media, CNN, all these platforms, they deep state. Anderson Cooper is a whole op. Anderson, all these people are related to some other Rothschild or Rockefeller. Anderson, or one of the 13 families. Anderson Cooper is Gloria Vanderbilt's son. That was the 13th family, Vanderbilts. And she was a pedophile. Okay? But there, you can go on YouTube. There's a documentary. It's called Boys of Brazil. That tells you about everything.
Yeah.
Contraland. Contraland shows you. Contraland, CONTRA, Contraland. A lot of these videos on YouTube, I didn't brought so much traffic to where they blocked it. But you can go on BitChute and watch a lot of it. Contraland, it's a these special op forces, and there's a father there, and his daughter is working with him. She's the decoy, and it's like to catch a predator on steroids. They show you down before Trump built that border wall that you could step over into Mexico over a raggedy ass fence. You see baby shoes on the ground, Pampers, bottles of water.
Right.
Yeah, so Contraland is another one. Sounds of Freedom, that's another one.
Hmm.
It's so many on child trafficking. It's public. We are the news now, because
Yes.
we can't look to mainstream media to tell you anything. And if they do, it's the good guys that's slipping in there with the news to make it privy. But no, mainstream media is the last place. Nobody watches TV anymore. So what they do is they take their fake news that used to be on the TV. Anchorman, the movie Anchorman tells you about fake news.
Yes, indeed. And
And then you
I,
go and they take their fake news and put it on the internet.
I
Because they
was
know
thinking,
everybody in their phone.
about that news report that you mentioned, and I remember watching that, and it was verbatim the exact same words, the exact same script, all over the
Right.
world at the same time. I said, "Whoa, am I going crazy here?"
No,
Like,
listen. This is they call them deltas in the military. Means they're behind. Deltas, 1 year delta, 2 year delta, 7 minute delta. These is delta. You a military? You know about deltas? I
mhm,
forgot. You never know about deltas.
mhm,
These are the deltas. This whole pandemic thing is 100-year-old delta. Back
mhm,
in the Spanish flu in 1918, all those millions of people, they told you that they died from the flu. Nah, they died. They didn't die from a mask either. They died from that experimental vaccine that they was giving them back then, the same experimental vaccine that they're giving these people now, because it's still under emergency use authorization. It's not mandated. Mandated is a fancy way of saying suggest you do this. It's not law. It has not been passed as a law at
Tam-
all. It's
Tamika,
also a
Nicole,
violation of your Fourth Amendment. I told people to go print out the
shoot,
Fourth Amendment and punch a hole in it and wear it around your neck like a Jesus piece.
like a Jesus piece. Tamika
Like a
Nicole
Jesus
Harris
piece.
says, V for Vendetta shows how the media is controlled. I remember this
Yes.
movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte says it's always the government and their experiments.
Mm-hmm.
Marvetta Rutherford says our democracy is at stake on 50 channels. We are a republic.
Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, I'm not going to keep you all night, but I do
You
want
can
to.
keep me for as long as you want.
You are
It's
so
okay.
sweet. I love you, beautiful.
Yes. You
Let
my
me ask you,
mama.
how do we shut down some of the pedophiles that we find on the internet? We, both of us, we have ran into them and we know exactly what happened as a result. How do we shut down these channels so that they cannot keep spreading their
Well, see,
venom?
and that's what we're combating now because these apps, Instagram, Facebook, and
Yes.
WhatsApp is owned by Facebook LLC, aka Mark Zuckerberg, aka Jason Greenberg, aka Rockefeller. He a whole Rockefeller.
Hmm.
He didn't. Somebody came up with the idea of Facebook. They just put his name on it because of who he is.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, these apps support. I over on Facebook, I done seen all kind of. I'm not on Facebook. Good. I'm so happy I'm not. I've seen they got a whole NAMBLA account. You know what the NAMBLA is, right? The North
Hmm.
American Man Boy Love Association. I heard they all
Yeah.
over Facebook, and they let that rock. I seen a flyer on Facebook. Somebody sent to me from Facebook, and it had a grown man holding his hand, holding a child's hand. And it was like, this is a love or something like it was pedophileness. So their deep state, they want that pedophile agenda. All these celebrities, these tweets on Twitter, they all the creator of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, he's a pedophile. Instagram and these apps, they all on the indictment. Google LLC is the first name on the indictment. Everything under that is on the indictment. So, when we've done things like report people, flag people channels, report people's videos, report their content for being pedophile like, and then they go and review it and they'll come back with an email that says, well, we didn't find, or a notification, we didn't find anything wrong. They didn't violate community guidelines, but we out here advocating for the children and they be cutting our throats. So
Yeah.
that lets us know that, but Donald Trump is a big tech lawsuit. It's a legitimate lawsuit, and millions of people have signed up with it and got their proofs of censorship. They get ready to take these apps down, hence these
Yeah.
shortages. They testing it.
Tamika says Trump is coming out with his own social media outlet.
Yes.
Charlotte says, but I violate community guidelines just sharing medical information. Exactly. Do you know,
Mm-hmm.
over the last, I'm going to say, 4 or 5 years, I've had maybe 6 different accounts. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to keep getting shut off for telling the truth
Mm-hmm.
on an outlet that is supposed to be. I said, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Because this is not ours. We don't own this. So of course they're going to do what they want to do. So I know that, okay, after this, you might as well just forget this channel too. So I'm always creating. But what I did, I said, okay, let me create the magazine. They cannot
Mm,
do anything with that because I own that.
you own
So
that,
I'm
right?
going to get right. I'm going to get out the word on my own ish. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
I
ma'am,
dare you to
yes.
come after that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
we're always trying to think of different ways to get that. Oh, and I think Jamie, we talked about Wayfair. She says, remember Wayfair? We talked about that
Yeah,
earlier.
Wayfair, they still, yeah, Wayfair, I exposed the heck out of Wayfair there.
Ooh,
Amazon, they still, listen, they still, even down to the word Wayfair, that part. Just down to, because here's the thing, like you said, when you own your own domain, right?
mhm,
You
mhm,
own your own domain, whether it's an app or website or magazine, they can't send to you on that note. Hence why I have my own domain coming. But I know how to move a little bit on the internet. So what I do is, because I know for a fact now that the white hats are placing news on the truth on social, I mean on mainstream media now. CNN,
right.
they you start to see a little bit of, you see a little plethora of truth on these deep state things. And what I do is I'll go like to I find something, somebody send it to me from the New York Post. That's a deep state publication, but it got the truth.
Mhm.
And when I go and put and says source the article New York Post, I never get flagged on certain things on my Instagram anymore because I put like source of articles says the New York Post or CNN or C-SPAN, and
Right.
they ain't gonna flag that because that's theirs. They're not gonna flag it.
As long as you give them credit. If you give them credit,
Right. They're not
there's a
gonna
little
flag it.
vanity. There's a little vanity involved, indeed. Let's
Right.
talk about. We've talked about the sex trafficking. We've talked about human trafficking. Let's talk about modern day slavery. And I know a
Mm.
lot of people do not even think about this, but a lot of the mail order brides, but also a lot of the young girls. I've been getting reports from a lot of my people in Africa, and they're consistently telling me they're coming to our villages. They're offering our young women a better life, and we never hear from them ever again.
Right.
So we know that they're being shipped out under the guise of, and they will pay the families. They're basically paying the families for their young women.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of them were found in New York. They did
Of course.
right. They escaped and they let everyone know that, okay, this is what I've been going through for 4 years since I came to this country.
Mm-hmm.
How earth are these women able, how are they able to even get to our country?
They're allowed. Here's the thing, and this is what the wall was built. Okay, let me touch on something briefly. People are this narrative about it being a food shortage and this shortage of clothes and supplies and stuff like that. The reason why that is going down is because they have these containers, these barges with these containers that's just floating in the middle of the ocean all over the world, especially around our country, because the executive order was signed that any company that deals with or got caught with dealing with trafficking, the United States is not accepting they produce or they nothing no more. So
Mhm.
that's why it's hundreds, maybe thousands of these ships with these containers that's supposed to dock and give the supplies. They ain't coming nowhere near here because they can't. So the wall was built when Donald Trump did the debate, him and Skin Mask. Okay. Now in 2014, there's a receipt that I have from my crack phone. Everybody know about the crack phone. From my crack phone that shows a back of a Walmart where they had these children in these cages, these women and children in these cages, ages 15, 17, 6, 7. And that was during the Obama administration. Donald Trump was nowhere to be found. Hence why Trump said, "Who built the cages, Joe?" Now, he also said that he has no problem with people wanting to come to this country. He
Mhm.
said, but these people don't do it the right way. They don't do it legally. They come, they get a little temporary visa, and they disappear. You're supposed to go back to court to get a permanent one and the
Right.
green card or whatever. They don't do it, and they come and they start smuggling in, and they built the border wall to keep them out and to stop the coyotes from trafficking. Coyotes, people were up in their arms and their panties in a bunch because he said coyotes bringing these children over. Oh my God, why would he say that? That's savage. You talking about coyotes with chewing up children? No, coyotes is military term for truck traffickers and drug traffickers. People look for crazy. But
Right. You gotta know the lingo, man. I'm telling you. Once you know, let me ask you something. Where do you intend? Now you said that you're getting your own, you said your own website, or what did
I've
you
got
say?
my own app. I already have my
Your own-
Patreon. I have these workshops I'm about to start. I kind of start them now with the people, but I'm going into just transitioning completely off of these apps and have my own domain.
Mhm.
I've also made knowledge born, and I also contacted HHS myself when I was still living in Philadelphia, on because they're looking for the Department of Homeland Security and HHS are looking for people to step up and foster these children that they are finding underground and
Mhm.
on the at the border unaccompanied. It's millions of children that need. There's $36
Millions.
billion humanitarian effort to put in. HHS, I've made that. I've reached out to HHS and spoke to a social work about fostering. The idea is to have people step up and foster these children until they find their parents. But the truth is they will probably never find these children's parents because a lot of
Yeah.
them were sold. A lot of them were groomed underground from another child. A 9-year-old, 10-year-old giving birth to another child. So but it's a process because they're hip to the people. People become foster parents for a check. Everybody, well, I have never done that, but everybody knows somebody that's done that. Same way we all know somebody that let somebody claim their children on their taxes. So
Mhm.
the HHS is not with that. They want people who want to love these children, nurture them, guide them, and take them in, and possibly keep them. So yeah,
Yes.
I make the knowledge one about that, but yeah, I'm definitely transitioning off these apps because they getting on my nerves with the
Yeah.
censoring.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly, I'm sick of it. I just got off of suspension. Is what I call it.
What, on Spreaker,
Timeout.
on the other app? The other
No,
app?
no, I never get. I never do that. I mean, Spreaker, you can do whatever you want to do. I
See,
never
I
get
like
flagged.
me and you have to build more. You have to guide me like you do about that app
I
just for the
will.
time
I
being.
will. I will. But Facebook, YouTube, all of that, I know that it's always a matter of time. First, they
Hmm.
will put me on timeout for 30 days, then 60 days, then okay, I can't get on any of my accounts. So, like, I
Right.
have all these accounts, but I can't even get on them.
They call it Facebook jail. It's like conditioning people with being
Yeah,
locked up. They lock you out of your account. It's ridiculous. It's disrespectful. Twitter
it is.
jail and all that. It's
Yeah.
conditioned with you being locked up. That whole taking your temperature with that thing pointed at your head. They drawing off your pineal gland and have you conditioned with something being pointed at your forehead. It's like everything is symbolic. They use symbols for everything. It's ridiculous.
And I asked the nurse about that. I said, "Why are they doing that?" And then she's like, "You can't figure that out." She's like, "They can take your temperature anywhere, sweetheart. It's a reason why they go." Or I said, "Yep, I get it now. I
They
get it
pulling off
now."
that third eye. That's what they
That's
doing.
it. That pineal gland.
That
Charlotte
part.
says CPS helps the government traffic children. Of course,
Yes, they do.
of
They
course.
involved in it directly.
Yes, they are. They are, I believe, one of the biggest
They
organizations
are. That
of
and Planned Parenthood.
traffickers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, and they actually pay people to abuse children. You
Yes.
get a check to abuse a child. So what
Hmm.
pedophile wouldn't want a check to do what they love to do? You know what I'm saying? It's let's see. Yes, you put your arm out. Exactly, Charlotte. So once you are awake, and someone said it in the chat, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't
Hmm.
unhear what you've heard. So, and my advice to a lot of people that are listening, I know that a lot of people may think of you as crazy. They may think of you as a heretic or a conspiracy theorist. But I promise you that you planted a seed and that seed will grow. As long as we keep planting the seeds, people will start to to do their knowledge as well. They will start asking questions. Well, why did they say that? That doesn't make any sense. And then they will start learning for themselves. So
Yeah.
no matter what people call you, it's not what they call you is what you answer to. It's
Right.
not, it's not how they treat you, it's how you respond. And
Hmm.
I had to realize that I couldn't respond like the demonic entities out here. I had to respond the way I'm supposed to respond.
Right. You had to change your domain. Right. Yeah. You have to
Ex-
ignore. You have to ignore that because conspiracy theory is a term created, contrived by the CIA for these moments. But not to say that you have 100 things in the theory. If one or two things comes to fruition in said theory, it's no longer a theory, it's a conspiracy. These people are out here, they've been conspiring. That's a fact.
Marvetta,
Conspiring population control, conspiring to kidnap these children, conspiring to chemtrail. They've been conspiring everything. Same thing with RICO Act. That's why the word conspiracy is thrown in a RICO Act.
in the RICO Act. Marvetta says, overstand totally. These children are missing from the four corners. Good is going to win. I believe that too. With the sound
Mm-hmm.
mind, Solar Woman says, you have, see what she says. I'm just reading a few comments. You have to block them because they go straight at your head. Exactly. And I talked about this a while back with a few of the content creators. Their diversion tactics. They're sent to divert us from our purpose, from our mission. So if they can get us in our feelings, and we're battling back and forth, then we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And so for a while there, I found myself battling with the pedophiles online. Like, okay, no, we're going to expose, but the energy exchanges. I said, whoa, I see what they're doing now. I'm
Yes.
I'm I'm actually promoting them without even knowing that I'm bringing attention to them. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so that's why,
There's proof that these apps, these powers behind these people that behind these apps, they pay people now.
yes,
They
they
pay
do.
little regular, just regular Joe Schmo, stupid in the comment that be in your chat. They pay him to troll. They pay these trolls now. That's why they coming out the woodwork.
Yes, they do. Let me ask you something. Can you put your Patreon into the chat for us? Would you like to do that?
I could put in the back. Oh wait, I didn't even see the comments. Oh, oh wow. Okay, wait. This doesn't give me an option to type.
Okay, put it in the back chat and I
Okay,
should
I put it
see
in the
it.
part chat.
Yeah. So whatever you do, guys, I do want you to go ahead and head on over to the beautiful Earth Amina, and she will tell you where you can find her, and of course her Patreon, so you can always find out what she's doing, what she's bringing forth, making the knowledge foreign, all that good stuff, because we don't want to miss anything. Trust me when I tell you that. So, last question, Earth.
Yes, ma'am.
What can we do now that we know, now that everyone knows, they can't pretend they didn't hear, and they can now do research for themselves? What can we do if we wanted to join the fight?
Um, I'm gonna have to send you send you the information with HHS. But the first step is just to share. To go, the first step
To
before you
share.
even share is to go and research, like you said, Mama. Go dig, go research, and find out what it is that they've been doing to these children. Because you have to go through that chamber and allow yourself to see what it is. And when you truly are passionate and just human about it, it will make you uneasy. That's why I say these people, if they know what's going on with these children and they out here sleeping and carrying on still, ain't nothing humane about them. You have to go and make yourself privy. But then just by sharing the information to more people to wake them up, and make sure if you have children or grandchildren, let them know what's going on. Privy them about these white vans in these parking lots, those signs, these
Yes,
apps like TikTok and Snapchat. They selling children on them too. They
yes, they
got
are.
package deals for these children. I exposed that about a month ago.
Make the knowledge foreign, you guys. That is
Mm-hmm.
what we can do. That's exactly what we can do. So I think I have it. Let me see here. And I'm going to write it down and then I'm going to put it into the chat. Is there anyone that you would like to acknowledge at this moment, or
No, you and everybody that's in the chat. See, I don't have Facebook, so it's
Brian?
it's cool to see face. No, it's cool to see little F's on the side. It's cool to see Facebook.
You know what?
But
I might not have it after today. I could care less because
oh well, yeah.
I knew exactly what to do. I said, let me just go ahead and
No, see, no, I like the way. Let me just acknowledge you for what you've been doing as far as just, um, the discovering the talent and pushing this talent. like on an A&R note without the devilishment, just because of just being how genuine you are. Not only that, but just for allowing me to come over here, and I told you anything you need, excuse me the hiccups, anything you needed from me, you got. And just salute to the people that's in the know. Like there's this sheep, I can't deal with them. There's lions that's in this chest, so salute to you guys. And have an open mind. Yeah, having an open mind. You may not. I tell people you don't gotta agree with take my word for it. Go make yourself a believer.
Yes,
Go.
indeed.
The research is out here. People believe that if it's not on TV, it's not true. And TV is they've been lying to you all this time. Turn the TV off.
Turn it off. Do you know? I used to watch television religiously. I started getting headaches all the time, all the time. But and my beloved, he is the one that said, "Do you know how many devices you have going?" And I said, "Whoa!" He's learning from me. He says,
See.
you do know that you have four different devices going all the time. You do know that you're doing this to yourself."
Yeah,
And
that
once
head that coming from that energy.
I could not believe it. I said, "Oh my goodness." So that is why a lot of people can't find me, is because a lot of times I'll turn off all my devices and they'll say, "Well, how are you a promoter if you turn off all-" I can't. I can't because I know what it does to my body. And so I would suggest that as well to a lot of the promoters, a lot of the people in the industry. Turn off. You don't have to have on all of your devices all the time. I have
Yes.
I have two computers. I have two computers, television, iPads, phones, and I only have two devices going at this moment because I
Mm-hmm.
know I don't want this type of thing going and happening to my body anymore. My body is too precious. Time is too precious. Every day that you're given on this planet is actually a gift. It is not to be squandered, you know?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. I just want to say thank you so much, my beautiful one, for coming through. I love
Anytime.
you. I love you so, so much.
I love and
And
appreciate you, and I'm proud of what you're doing, and I'm proud that you have stayed above the fray, and just being an epitome of Queen Mother, and just being a breath of fresh air, because what you're doing is a lot of people, that's like to the essence of what it is, as far as just promotion, and just unsigned hype, and talent, because everything I can't, my ears can't take everything sounds the
yeah,
same. I can't. The low is the frequency is 440 or 450 hertz. Is devilishment music. I
ooh,
can't. I can't.
you know me. I can hear it right away. If they send it in and it makes me feel, I'm like, nah, don't play that with me. Don't play
Right.
that with me. Because you're not going
Mm-hmm.
to do that to my people through my platform. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
and I remember that you loved a certain artist. Do you remember who that artist was? And I had just played one song, and you said, "Oh my God, I love her. Why don't you play more music, Mama?" But you didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that I was on iHeart and Deezer and all that. I said, "Honey, it's
Yes.
my own radio station." You're like, "Oh my gosh!" But I had just played that. But I want you to hear a person that you really, really enjoyed, actually. And let's see if I can find her video. But I just want to say to everyone that came through, I see you guys on Instagram, on Facebook, and all of that, Twitch. Thank you so much. Please
Yes. Thank
come
you,
back
guys.
again. Yes, come back again. Don't be a stranger.
They're
Okay.
not. They're not gonna be a stranger. They be.
This is Janeda Marie, someone she
Yes.
really likes. Try to give you space.
Yes. We.
Yeah, we caught a vibe. You were in your feelings. Could you be the best man for me? I might set you free. Now you see you can't move on to another. I can't be replaced. I'm a different lover. I can't take it anymore. About to walk about the door. become so dumb in love? Young in love, young, dumb in love with you. How did I become so dumb in love? My love, baby, I pray, wishing that we never fell in love. My love, I've been tripping. My love, I've been thinking, praying, wishing that we never fell in love. Try to give you hope, knowing you need it. Sun in your face, you were fighting demons. And I wasn't what you need. You should have set me free. Try to love you right, but you always never. Try to love you right, will it ever happen? I can't do this anymore, so I'm walking out the door. Oh, are you falling, baby? Know that you need me lately. How could it be that we lost control? Said that you're riding with me, chemistry was amazing. Couldn't it be that we lost control? Let you break my heart, it did right to pieces. And you never came to pick it up. I gave you my all, thinking you would keep it. How did I become so dumb in love? Young in love, young, dumb in love with you. How did I become so dumb in love? Young in love, young, dumb in love with you. How did I become so dumb in love? My love, baby, I pray, wishing that we never fell in love. My love, I've been tripping. My love, I've been thinking, praying, wishing that we never fell in love. How did I become so young and dumb in love with you? How did Sometimes you're a little dumb in love, y'all. That is my goddaughter, Sinead Marie. I know the
Yes.
she always loves Sinead Marie, so I had to play her on today.
Yes,
I
thank
just want to
you.
say, you're welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for stopping through. And of course, always dropping the knowledge on us. Thank you so much. And please come back again very
Of
soon.
course. And I want to know because now the Mama Global's going to be coming, excuse me, coming over to the Daily Planet for promote your. So she's going to come over, but she's going to talk about what she does over here, the magazine and everything else, the artists and everything else. So she's going to be my honored guest this week coming up.
Wonderful. I will be there. You already know. So thank you so much, guys. I thank you. Thank you for all of the earths, all the gods, kings, queens, and even the court gestures out there. You give us
That
inspiration.
part. That whole
You
part.
always inspire us. Hey, I'm just going to
Yes.
tell the truth. And Young Promise is here. Oh, beautiful one. I love you. She's this Earth Amina. Peace to the chat. That
Peace.
is
Hi, everybody.
Montero Durham. Peace. All right, guys. So I will be seeing you over on the planet this week. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. Thank you so much, Earth.
Oh,
And
I
I
love
will
you,
be,
Mama.
oh, I'll be seeing you soon, baby.
Yes. Okay. Everybody, good night.
Good night, beautiful one.
Okay. Okay. Peace.
Peace. Well, of course, that was okay. And here I am. Here I am. Peace, 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 everyone. That was beautiful. And of course, she's family. She's family. She's the earth, you guys, Earth Amina. So if you don't know who she is. Now you know. So, peace, power, understanding, wisdom, and light. I'll be seeing you on Tuesday. I do believe that this Tuesday, that is with Israel Doctrine. Israel Doctrine, guys. That's gonna be pretty interesting. Yeah, you already know what we're gonna be talking about. A little Bambada, a little Bambada. That's what we're going to be talking about. So let's see how this goes. We pray that my channels won't be taken down yet again. But if they are, we have the magazine, you guys. So I'll be posting the link to the November magazine very soon. That will be the first week of November. And you can read all about the Earth Aminah in that magazine as well. So in case anyone is interested, there is the Cash App. I know a lot of people, they would like to donate. What we do with any donations, we've already shown it. We do a feed our I call them fallen angels in Chicago. We also buy jackets, coats. This is the winter time. We know that it gets to be -10, -20 in the Chi. So we buy coats, we buy hats, gloves, t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, all type of things. That is called the Sankofa Initiative Chicago. So if you are interested, go ahead and there are the Cash Apps. If not, we're going to use our own money because that's how we do. So that is it. That is all. I'll see you all Tuesday. Love you, family. And until next time. Okay. And I'm just downloading here. And it has been great, you guys. It has been great. Let me get out of that screen right there so that I can end the show. Because I can end the show. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second, folks. Going to end this right quick with, of course, our outro. And this was created by His Lordship. He is a content creator on YouTube.